Alright, so this is the post-draft power rankings. So this is pretty much what's done before all the week 1 matches, and looking at the teams and how each coach drafted the teams, and going a little bit in depth into each team. I am joined by Hearttongue.
What's going on, guys? It's Hearttongue here.
And I am Robson98, also known and Patrick. So for 16, I chose the Umbreons, you chose the Farfetch'd.
Indeed, I did. Yeah, just to me, he has so many ground weaknesses. If I just look here, Alolan Muck, Mega Manectric, Nidoking, Metagross. I mean, Shuckle's not exactly weak, but it's definitely part rock, so...
Yeah, but
he doesn't have a lot of ways to counter it.
Well, Canslander's Theory, which is immune, Staraptor, which is immune, and Gourgeist, which resists, so he does have some options to play around with that.
But they're all weak to ice if you look at it.
Yeah. So, I'm going to explain Rex's team.
This is all opinion based, so
yeah.
Like, don't... Yeah.
I chose the Umbreons because mainly when I saw his team, I saw, you know, his Fairy Dragon Steel courses or Mimikyu and Dragonite. But if they all sort of want to be sweepers, they kind of like to set up. I mean, Dragonite doesn't necessarily need to do that, and he doesn't really have any mons that break base 100 speed other than his mascot Espeon.
I'm just trying to find the Umbreons. I can't see them.
It's Rob's team.
Anyway, shall we move on to 15?
Yeah, 15 we both agree. We both picked the Lanoons.
Yeah. Yep, that would be Jacques or Josh, I believe.
Ryan.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. There's two of them. I confuse myself sometimes.
Yes. So the reason why I went with his team is because when I saw his team, one thing that I noticed is that 5 of the mons on his team are weak to fire, which is a very common typing that is used throughout, not just when building, you know, teams, but also just for coverage, really.
Yeah, it's the base of a core, so it's definitely going to have at least one fire mon, if not 2 or 3 on the team. The reason I picked it was there's pretty much a lack of bulk there. Celesteela, maybe Alolan Ninetales if you build it right, Quagsire, and Avalugg, but Avalugg's really not going to come to a lot of games unless it's a rapid spinner.
And the majority of those mons you said, you know, weak to fire, so fire really hurts his defensive core.
Yeah, exactly, especially with an Avalugg and an Alolan Ninetales, and Celesteela, 3 out of 4 of his defensive mons are weak to it. But yeah, it's really lacking a fire resistance besides from Quagsire, but you can't rely on that because if it's a normal Ninetales or Charizard, Mega Charizard Y with Solar Beam, that's it. Your defensive core is ruled out.
And Quagsire is one of those mons where it's not really too hard to play around because there's only so much it can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at 14, I've chosen myself, and you have chosen the Suicunes.
Bailey, yeah, his team's just looking a little frail to me. Especially. I mean, Blastoise is quite good physically, and so is Steelix, but there's really not a lot of special... It's all quite fast. I mean, you've got Ditto to copy stats, Gardevoir, Tornadus Eye, Weavile, Mega Sceptile, Gengar, and Infernape all have over base 100 speed, but my god, it's so frail. It's going to blow over in a strong wind. which isn't to say it's a bad team, but it's just very, very frail.
Yeah, I put myself mainly because I don't think compared to some of the other teams, my team stacks up all too well. But I do like my fairy Dragon Steel Core, Sylveon, Komodo, and Mega Scizor, which Komodo is pretty much like Hydreigon, except instead of having dark typing, it has fighting type in
I
terms
put you
of
quite
its
high up on the
usage.
list.
What?
I put you quite high up on the list,
Yeah,
which
I
is
know.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at your team now, and I don't see anything completely bad with it. It's certainly lacking some things, but you've got a great core, and
Yeah.
you've definitely got some complementary mons to back it up with. Maybe you're lacking a little bit of speed, is the only thing I'd say. But I mean, personal opinion, either or, I guess.
So at 13, I've chosen the Lugias and you've chosen the Monfernos.
I did, and this is the exact opposite of what I said before with Bailey's team or the Suicoons. Hugo's got a lot of good mons on there. He's just lacking a little bit of speed. He's got Mew, Empoleon, Florges, Snorlax, Nihiligo. They're all great defensive mons, but there's not a lot of speed behind it. I mean, Mew's base 100, but Mew's great. Especially like things like Zygarde, they barely scrape 100, but they got a quad weakness. It's just a little bit too slow.
So looking at the Lugia's Tapu Koko, which is a phenomenal offensive mon. Slowbro gives it some good bulk along with Porygon too, but it's an E-like user, so it has to be wary of knockoff. And he has Mega Pinsir, which is another fast mon along with Superior. But other than that, he doesn't really have anything too fast. And his mon with the best special defense is Regice, but it's an ice type, so it only really resists its own typing.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I've got him closer up towards where we were talking about before, but I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Especially, I mean, Coco and Superior together are monstrous, but he doesn't really have a core if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
He's missing that. He's missing
Well, actually, he does
quality.
have a Fairy Dragon Steel Core with Tapu Koko,
Steel.
Flygon, and Bisharp.
I just saw that. It's a
Yeah.
little bit frail if you look at it, though. That core
Mm-hmm.
isn't going to stand up to a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming in at 12, you've chosen the Snorlaxes, and I've chosen the Dunfarmlenos.
Yeah, my only problem with Corey's team is he's got double dragon and not a lot of special bulk. Is that what I said? Sorry, designated bulk. He's got nothing as a designated switching except maybe Miltank. But I mean, coming up against something like John's Kieran Black, or even Cabalion, something like that. There's nothing that he can. He's going to have to sack something rather than bring something out to cover for himself.
So I do like Jock picking Exudrill, one of the best spinners in the game, but then he also has Ferrothorn, which gives him 2 mons weak to fire. Granted, he does have Gel Scent, but then you also have Sneasel, and then Clefairy, which if he wants to run them defensive, EVI, but then knock off, and he also has 4 or 5 mons weak to fighting. So
yeah, and I mean your only designated switch into that would be Ferrothorn, and it can only take so much.
yeah. Or Jellicent because of ghost type immunity.
Yeah. But, I mean, most fighting types would carry knockoff.
Yeah.
Or some form of dark type move.
So.
Yeah, I can see. That's a pretty decent spot for him.
Yeah. So, at number 11, I have the Arbok, and you have the Lugias.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with what you said before. He's lacking a little bit of special bolt, and he's got an Eviolite user there, but again, he's got 4 or 5 mons that really don't want to be knocked off, like Crustal, Regice, Slowbro, Porygon 2, and maybe Flygon, depending on what item he has on it. You definitely don't want those mons to get knocked off. But apart from that, I mean, Tabu Koko and Superior, fantastic. Lacking a little bit of speed. But I mean, Flygon with 1D Dance can maybe cover that. Magmortar, Choice Scarf, that's always a nice set to have. He's got a great spinner and top as well, so.
I don't think
I'm not
Flygon
100%
gets
against this.
Dragon Dance, really.
Does it not?
I don't think so, because Dragon Dance is an egg move, and Trapinch can't learn Dragon Dance. I think it's sort of like Mega Sceptile with Tail Glow.
I am very rusty if he can't learn Dragon Dance. He cannot learn Dragon Dance, and I am super rusty. Oh no, he can learn Dragon Dance. Flygon can learn Dragon Dance.
Oh, it
I
can?
was right. Yeah, Flygon can learn Dragon Dance. He can now. Maybe not Gen 6.
Yeah, that's probably it. So the Arbok have Tapu Fini, which is a phenomenal wall, probably like the new Crest, pretty much. If you think
Crest Incarnate.
Yeah. Volcarona, Gabalion, Probaddragon, Audino, Mega Medicham, Thunder's Theory, and Mesprit, Drapion, and Whimsicott. I like Volcarona as a Z move user. I'm just not sure how I feel about Thunder's T, since it kind of runs, sort of similar sets type of situations.
It could always be to cover Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Flying, just to give it a bit of extra oomph. Yeah. So turning it into, whatever the Z moves are. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
His Fairy Steel Dragon Core is more of a defensive core than really a offensive core, really, because those mons are typically run as a defensive role, not a offensive role. So
yeah, I mean, Cobalion can be run a little bit offensive. It'll normally carry maybe Stone Edge in close combat with Volt Switch and Stealth Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably your only true offensive mon in that core.
So moving on to number 10, I've chosen the Snorlaxes and you have chosen the Volt Strikers.
Indeed I have. Dylan, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. But looking at this, there's really no hazard removal. Can Serena get Rapid Spin? It can, can't it?
Serena?
Just double checking. It can learn Rapid Spin. Okay, so my notes were a little bit incorrect there. Rapid Spin, Serena, and Defog Swallow, those are really his only options for hazard removal. And neither of those mons want to have a move dedicated to hazard removal wasted. So he's looking at someone stacking up hazards against him, and whether it be Raw, Whirlwind, whatever, and just slowly chipping away if he doesn't deal enough damage in time. it's pretty much game over from there.
Yeah, sort of what you're saying, like he doesn't really have a necessary mon that's, is just bulk other than Miltank. Gramble does get intimidated, which helps. But another thing that I'm seeing is he doesn't really have any mon that, moves fast and hits hard other than Lucario, which is nice because he can bring that physical or special. And Haxorus gets Dragon Dance to help boost his speed, same with Garchomp, but it's not really something you're gonna want to bring a lot as terms of offensive power.
Yeah, that was what I was saying before. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. He's got a lot of power, but there's just nothing to back up that power. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to be sacking. You don't want to be sacking off mons to go. I need to get this mon in.
Yeah, and I would have rather seen Lucario as his other Z move user over Entei, because he can use a Z move to sort of throw off his opponent, whether he's running a physical or special set, because they wouldn't really be able to tell if he uses on the right mon. So he can sort of keep that hidden and save it for when he needs it.
The only trouble I have with Haxorus being a Z mover is it's a little one-dimensional. I mean, what are you going to run? Maybe Poison, Dragon. I can't really think of anything else that Haxorus would generally run.
I believe he gets Shadow Claw.
Yeah, I mean, it's very circumstantial, but he could.
So moving on to number 9. I have chosen the Suicunes, and you have put yourself at 9.
Yeah, scraping outside the top 8. I'm just looking at my team. It's it's not frail, but there's definitely a lot of mons in there that can't take a huge hit. Manectric, Ambipom, Victini, Silvally, Latias. Oh, Latias is a bit more defensive. That's why I went for it over Latios. But a lot of my mons have very predictable sets. Like Umbreon's probably only going to run Protect, Toxic, Wish, Heal Bell, maybe Foul Play. Registeel's going to run this Thunder Wave, Stealth Rocks, Seismic Toss sets. Mega Venusaur's generally going to have Leech Seed, Giga Drain, and or Sludge Bomb, maybe Sleep Powder. Hitmonchan's going to have a few punches and a Rapid Spin, and maybe Knockoff. Ambipom's going to have Fake Out. It's just very predictable.
Yeah. So one thing, as you were saying, sort of, he doesn't have a lot of mons with good bulk. One thing that I saw that, would actually help him is Galvantula with Sticky Webs. It can set up Sticky Webs and slow, the other team's sweepers who below his sweeper speeds, which can help give him the edge in a close match.
Yeah, it's definitely Galvantula's Sticky Webs is definitely going to help him out for things like maybe Cobalion and Crobat.
Well, not Crobat, because Crobat is a flying type.
That is true. I totally forgot about that. I am so rusty at this. Yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
I mean, he does have Gardevoir, which can be run special,
there.
defensive. Steelix, which can really handle most physical mons one-on-one. Blastoise, which can be run either way. He can even use that to set up Rain with Rain Dish, and have Aqua Ring going all at once just to recover for like 18% health per end of turn, pretty much. So
Yeah, I'm just remembering now. Gardevoir gets access to Will-O-Wisp, which does take away some of his frailness, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah. So moving on to number 8, I have the Monfernos and you have the Arbok.
I do. I mean, I like Cameron's team. He's just a lot of his mons that are more offensive require a bit of setup, like Volcarona, Cobalion will maybe want to set up a Sword Stance. Mega Metacham, you'd probably want to throw a Sword Stance in there, even though it gets access to huge power. Thundy T generally likes to set up Nasty Plot. Mesprit will probably want to throw a few Carmines up. Whimsicott will generally be going for Tailwind and Leech Seed before it hits any offensive moves.
Yeah, I like Mew because that gives him a lot of versatility with that mon, because it's like when you see somebody has a Mew, if you think they're going to bring it, don't try to figure out what the set is ahead of time, because there's so many possibilities. He has Empoleon and Cryogonal. Cryogonal can Rapid Spin, and Empoleon, I believe, gets Defog to get rid of hazards. And then his Fairy, Dragon Steel Core, Zygarde, Florges, Empoleon. Empoleon and Florges provide some nice bulk, while Zygarde gives him a good offensive mon to use. So move on to number 7.
Sure.
We have both taken Joe, the Chippenham Chestnuts.
Do we both agree on that one?
Yeah, we both agree that Joe is at number 7.
Wow, that's rare. Just looking at Joe's team, if I can find it, it's down the other end. He's lacking a little bit of what did I say? Wow, I totally read his team wrong. No, I love Joe's team. In fact, I probably should have put it higher. But it is where it is. He's lacking a little bit of physical offense, I might say, actually, looking at it now. Kartana and Conkelda are pretty much his only designated physical
Incineroar
attackers.
is there also, with that Fire Dark typing.
Incineroar. That's true. But 3, I mean, look at Suicune, Nidoqueen. You could run Nidoqueen physical, but
yeah,
it's generally run special. Mega Gardevoir, Thundy, Cofagrigus, and Frogadier. There's a lot of special offense there.
Yeah, well, one thing that I saw is Gligar and Frogadier. They're both Eviolite users when want to run defensively. So knockoff sort of destroys that. Suicune is, I would say, and Cofagrigus are really his only two physical like walls, which can be played around pretty easily because of both.
And even then Cofagrigus is weak to knockoff as well. So
yeah, I mean the only one he would probably want to take a knockoff would probably be Conkeldurr maybe, but
he's got good priority in Thunderous Eye with Thunderwave and jeez, what other priority moves does he get? Definitely Thunderwave would be the main go-to there.
But you have to keep in mind with the Prankster nerf that he can't use it on any dark types.
Yeah.
He can't really use any status moves with Thunderous Eye on dark types because it has Prankster. So he's definitely gonna be careful of that because of the nerf.
Looking around the board, the mons that you'd most want to be hitting Thunderwave on aren't dark types, so you might be able to get away with it there.
Alright, so now number 6. I have chosen the Clefables, and you have chosen Jock's team.
Yeah, the Dunfield Maroons. I'm just looking at it. I like his team. It is, as you say, a bit weak to fighting, but I'm noticing his fairy. Clefairy is pretty meh. I mean, I know he didn't have a lot to choose from because it was his last pick, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's just really average as a fairy type. I mean, going down the list, even in tier 5, you could have had something like a Aromatisse. That would have been real. That would have helped his team a lot, actually, Aromatisse.
Yeah.
But I mean, Clefairy is not bad, but there's definitely, being an EV light user and a fairy is kind of hurting you.
Yeah. I do like Panthers, Fairy Dragon Steel Core with Clefable, Salamence, and Mega Aggron. The only thing is, the only healing that core actually has is Clefable with Wish Passing into the other Mon, so... I mean, he does have Reunion Place which gets recover, which he can run bulky, but it's sort of just like he doesn't have a lot of ways to give his cores, his defensive Mons, good recovery other than Wish Passing into stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too much about his team because he hasn't appeared on my list yet, so
Yeah.
I'll take what you said into consideration.
So, number 5, I have chosen the Volt Strikers, and you have chosen the Hunch Crows.
Number 5, Noah's team. Yeah, I mean, I like Noah's team. I think it's quite... sorry, hold on. Are we up to number 5 or number 6?
5.
Number 5, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I really like Noah's team. He's got a nice spinner and Tentacruel. The only thing I'm looking at is he has a lot of rock setters and 1 toxic spike setter, but that's about it. He's looking at 1 remover, 2 removers in Mandibuzz and Tentacruel. Both of them do the job quite well, but they're very predictable in their sets, which means they can get countered. But apart from that, his team's quite solid.
Yeah, I like Dylan's core of Jirachi, Hydreigon, and Primarina. I
Don't even
I
get me
sort of see
started on Jirachi.
Primarina as, pretty much similar to Milotic. It just gets the added fairy typing. And
Yeah.
Jirachi and Hydreigon gives him some good versatility within that core, so that can make that
And you
core
gotta
pretty
remember,
hard to, counter. And then I like Jirachi and Terrakion as Z-Moves users because they have a good diverse move pool to dig into that Dylan will definitely be able to take advantage of.
you gotta remember too, Primarina is also a double screen setter, so I could definitely help him out a bit there.
Yeah. So on to number 4. I have taken the Rattata's and you have taken the Espeons.
Yeah, I mean, I like this team a lot. I'm just leaning a little bit to more towards special attack. Scizor's good, great. Mimikyu is fantastic. I used it last season, I believe. What was that? No, I used it last season. But then you've got Amoonguss, Cloitza, Mega Camerupt, Espeon, Oricorio. All of those are quite specially based. And then you've got Dragonite coming up the rear, which I actually really like Dragonite. But I mean, Minior can be run mixed, but it is also a setup mon, so you're gonna have to take a turn to Shell Smash before anything good can happen.
Yeah, that's one thing like Scizor, if you wanted to, do something really good, it's going to set up a sword stance. Mimikyu is going to have to set up a sword stance, which it does get that free cell, but it's a pretty frail mon with not a lot of speed, so other mons with like bulkier setup mons can handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
And sort of like Mimikyu is one of those mons where if you wanted to sweep, you have to get rid of anything that can sort of keep it from doing that. So he'll kind of have to start clearing his opponent's team and play around that if he wants to use it as a sweeper.
Yeah.
So on to number 3. I have chosen the Farfetch'd and you have chosen the Rocket Tots.
So we basically almost swap positions. I love John's team, and I have a weak one, and it scares the absolute shit out of me. It's so physically offensive with great special attacking mons like Magnezone, Togekiss. Liepard is pretty underestimated. Fantastic bulk in Tangrowth, Aloe Momola, and Togekiss. Smeargle as well, and Landorus Eye and Kira Black are very scary.
And Kieran Black can be run physical or special because it has base 120 special attack, I believe. So he can, sort of use that to sort of give his opponents a hard time, thinking he could bring up physical Kyurem, and then, you're getting hit by, ice beams and dragon pulses and, different, moves.
Especially it being a Z move user as well. If he wants to run Free Shock, which is an 180 attack, ice move, special ice move.
I think Free Shock is physical.
Physical ice move, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I meant
with
to say
that
physical.
base 170.
And then he runs it as a Z move. It's gonna hit like an absolute truck.
And he can make the rest of his moves be, special attacks, and he won't really need to put too much attack EVs into that to actually make it just almost one-shot anything on the opponent's team.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got a weak one. There's not more. I don't want to say too much and give away my plans.
Yeah. One thing that I really like about choosing is Lander's T and Mega Manectric with the double Intimidate as his full turn core. That can be really handy for just wearing down, physical attackers that could be pretty threatening to his team, with Earthquake just continually, keep them down with Intimidate, so even if they can fire off an Earthquake against a mon that would take a decent amount of damage, it would still be able to live and fire off a strong attack to knock it out or bring it within killing range.
Yeah. Looking at it now, I actually do agree with that. And also, I apologize for putting you last, Chewie. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and Vaporeon is a nice bulky mon to have on a team with Water Absorb. Gives them an immunity to that typing, which helps some of his mons that would be weak to it, like Nidoking and Shuckle, Landers T.
Don fan as well. It's
Yeah.
a good wish passer too.
Mm-hmm.
So he can keep Mega Manectric and Lando T healthy.
Yeah. Now on to number 2, which I find this interesting because we have each other at number 2.
Oh, you put me so high. I'm so thankful. Very grateful. I mean, I really like your team. You got an outstanding Fairy Dragon Steel Core. With really not a lot of weaknesses there. In fact, I don't see any looking at those 3. Kamoa is really only weak to Dragon and Fairy, which are complemented by Sylveon and Mega Scizor. I mean, you're really only looking at a fire weakness, but you've got Arcanine with Flash Fire. Regirock there as well. And then you've got your speed with Gliscor, Heliolisk, and Roserade down the bottom, which are really underrated in League combat.
Yeah, well, probably another reason why I, put this team lower than probably what I would have is I would say only 4 of these mons I've actually used in League format before that I've enjoyed using, which was Sylveon, Megacizor, Regirock, and Heliolisk. Were the only 4 mons that I've ever used in League format before. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do with the other 7 mons on my team.
You're lucky. I've only used 2 or 3 that I've got in my team, so I'm dealing with 8 new ones.
Yeah, but I like Victini there with the versatility so volley, which gives you pretty much access to any type you'll need throughout whatever week. So Umbreon gives you a nice wish passer. Swampert is a nice mon. Registeel, Mega Venusaur. You kind of have a little bit of a rain team with Swampert, Registeel, Mega Venusaur, Latias, Manectric that you can run. And then you also have mons
Yeah, I did think about that for maybe something like Jock's team, where he's running quite a lot of things that if I could get some speed behind me would be devastating.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Ambipom, which is really effective. Actually has a good diverse move pool that you can use because it gets Gunk Shot for fairies, normal gem fake out, and it has Technician, so you can use moves that may not hit as hard as a knockoff user. I like Victini as a Z-move user because of its versatility in the moves that it gets, but I'm not sure how I feel on Manectric as a Z-move user.
Yeah, me and Dylan discussed this, and I kind of ran out of options. I didn't want to throw. It was between Manectric and maybe Hitmonchan, and I really didn't want to run my Rapid Spinner as a Z-move user. But I mean, I don't think I'll be using Manectric as a Z-move user a lot. It was kind of just there to fill a space.
Yeah, I think probably what you should have done is probably use Ambipom because it has nice speed and definitely some moves you could take advantage of in its move pool for a Z move.
Yeah, I never really thought about Ambipom, but that could be. Well, that would have been a good choice if I could change it.
So at number 1, I have the Honchkrows and you have the Clefables.
Yes, I love this team. It's near faultless for me. Near faultless. Fantastic Fairy Dragon Steel Core. A lot of speed with things like Salazzle, Unburden, Hitmonlee, Zoroark, Raichu. Manaphy is not base 100, but it's base 90, I believe. But a lot of physical offense. Hitmonlee, Piloswine, Mega Aggron. A lot of special offense with Clefable, Manaphy, Zoroark, Raichu. Doesn't look like he has a lot of hazard removal, being only Hitmonlee, but I mean that's a small price to pay for his fantastic core. I love this team.
Yeah, looking at Noah's team, he has Tapu Bulu, Mandibuzz, Dugtrio, Tentacruel, Yamega, Ferroseed, Mega Ampharos, Heatran, UC, Mienshao, and Tauros, which he has mons that have common weaknesses, but then he has, 2 or 3 mons that he can just use to work around that weakness pretty easily. And a lot of these mons, there's a lot that he could do with, these mons like Mega Ampharos. You typically see agility. He could bring maybe sort of like a bulkier Ampharos, because it does get decent bulk to where he could run a bulkier set than the common agility sweeper. Heatran and Talbulu both add to the core very nicely, with Heatran being another mon with versatility, and Tapu Bulu just hits extremely hard physically and can be a good physical wall if need be.
Yeah, and they both fit into a double core. He's got a Fairy Dragon Steel with Ampharos and then a Firewater Grass with Tentacruel, so I mean he can slide it in either way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that concludes the post-draft analysis. So we will be back for the one that will come out after the week 1 matches have concluded.
Yeah. Good to see you guys, and we'll see you after week 1.
All right.